You've got questions and you need answers, right? Well, you've probably already prepared yourself for the potential questions that your interviewer might ask you, but now you need to know what questions you should ask in the interview. Well, keep watching and listening to today's TalentSmiths Lunch and Learn Live with Janet Smith as I share with you 5 questions that you should ask in your interview. Mm-hmm. Today's show is brought to you by TalentSmiths, where today's top paid compensation professionals find their next career. Compensation professionals, check us out online at talentsmiths.net for a free resume consultation where you can grow and advance your career intentionally. Today, I want to share with you 5 questions that you should ask during your interview. You've already prepared for the questions that they might ask you. Your answers are ready. Your stories are ready. You're ready. So 5 questions that you should ask during the interview. So these are 5 different question types that you should ask during the interview, because you need to know what you need to know. And sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. You already have some questions, but I want to give you a few more to add to your list in case you don't already have these. So let's get started. And the questions that I'm going to share with you, they're simple questions. They're simple enough, but you're going to use the strategic application in the answers that you get to these questions. So this is definitely important information that you should gather during the first round of interviews that you have. But also keep in mind, during your first round of interviews, you could very well be interviewed by someone that's not in the higher leadership, that might not necessarily have all the answers to your questions. You could start with a pre-screen type of interview, and that's okay. That's okay. So just be aware, though, that the first round of interviews, it might be handled by someone that's not making the final decision, or someone that doesn't even have all of the answers to your questions, but that's okay. If that does happen, just remember to keep those questions in your mind so that you can dig in deeper in your future interviews and the follow-up interviews that you have. Okay. So question number 1, ask about the role of the position. Ask about the position. This is a position that could potentially be yours. So ask about the role. And that could sound like this. What have been the biggest challenges in this role? You need to know that. You need to know that, because this can help you to focus on those specific pain points and answer those and share and show in your stories how you can help to resolve those specific pain points, or how you in that position can lead to a resolution for those specific pain points. If you're not able to elaborate on that in the pre-screen, definitely elaborate on that in your future interviews. So learn those pain points of the position. And another question you can ask, is this a new role, or are you backfilling this position? That is very important as well. So if the position is being backfilled, when you ask that question, they will likely share the details with you, such as, If the previous person is no longer in that role because of a promotion, because of a lateral move, because they left the company, they will likely share those details with you. And you'll also learn that if this is not a backfill position, if it's a new position, it could mean because the company is growing, expanding, and that is awesome. That could also mean that if it's a new position, you will be able to blaze the path and set the standard for this position because it's brand new. They may be relying on you to help make some establishments in this position. So keep an open mind with that as well. You could kind of paint the position description to look how you think it should look in the company as well if it's a brand new position. That's a very good position to be in for you. Question number 2, ask about the team. Ask them about the team within the company, and that could look something like this. You could ask, what is the structure of the team? Simple question. Or you could ask, who would my position report to? Who would I be reporting to? That's a question that you need to know. And it's just best to not assume that the team structure is going to be identical or similar or the same as the company that you were at previously. So just ask for clarification. Do not assume that it's going to be a normal team structure because there's really not a normal team structure. It just depends on how the company has it set up. Ask so that you will know and don't assume what it looks like. Question 3, ask about the company. I mean, you've done your research, but ask about the company. That can sound like this. What does it mean to be a cultural fit here at this company? That's a great question. So this question, it shows that you're not just in it for yourself. You're not just thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the position as a whole. You're thinking about it holistically. You are thinking about more than just yourself. That speaks volumes to the interviewer, and it speaks volumes to the leadership team because ultimately they want to know that you're there for the company. So that's a very good question. And the answers that you get, you can mirror those values in your future interviews if, of course, those cultural values match with yours. You need to know that if it's a match with you or not. Very important. That can make or break your decision to even staying with the company or accepting a job offer if extended. Mm-hmm. So, question number 4, ask about the interviewer. Ask about the interviewer. The question could sound like this. After research, I see that you've been with this company for 20 years. How has your role in the company changed over that time period? That's a very good question. That's a very pertinent question. You can ask also, what makes you excited to come to work every day after 20 years? I'm just throwing that number out there. Whatever the years that they've been there, of course, that's what you will use for them. But this question shows that you're interested in the interviewer, not just yourself and not just the position. You are interested in building relationships with the team or with the company, period, because this person that you're interviewing with initially, it could just be a recruiter, not necessarily someone that's going to be on your team in your department, but it does show your research skills that you've took the time to research the company and research that particular individual to see how long they've been with the company. And you want to know the inside scoop on what it's like to work there. Ask that very pertinent question as well. So number 5, ask about the process. This is so important. Very important. You can ask something like this after you clear your throat. What does the interview process look like? What does it look like? Or what are the next steps in the process? Or when should I expect to hear back about next steps? Mm-hmm. That is very important. That is so important. And this question gives you the information on what date you should follow up. Follow up is so important. If you're not certain about how to follow up, check out my last video that I did last year where I walk you through how to follow up after an interview. That is so critical. Follow up is critical. You definitely need to know how to follow up after an interview. So these questions are all simple enough, but you are going to use the answers that they give you to these questions and strategically and intentionally give your own follow-up responses, and you'll be able to do that like a pro. You need to know what to ask so that you can turn around and give responses that share with them and show them how you fit the bill for the position and solve their pain points, right? Go out and get that job that you've been searching for and waiting for. It's yours. It is yours this year. It is. Good luck. You've got this. You have definitely got this. So review those 5 question types and ensure that you ask those questions to the first round of interviewers, to your first interviewer. If they can't answer your questions, then follow up and dig deeper in the follow-up interviews after that. Go ahead and get that position that you have your sights on intentionally and make sure to ask those follow-up questions. Thanks for watching. Bye.